Hello, welcome back. Always a pleasure to have you with us. In the lineup for today, we're going to deliver some of the smartest plays in football history. Keep in mind, it's the year 2020. The NFL is 101 years old. So there's so many smart plays, we'll probably have to make 5 sequels of just this video. Let us know in the comment section below if you think we should. Plus, like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Now let's start our first countdown of the most brilliant plays in football history.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
Number 10, Cowboys couldn't wrangle Jim Brown.
Men in the league who have dedicated themselves, their souls and their bodies to a holy
This
war.
incredible play occurred on October 17th, 1965 in Cleveland, Ohio. Jim Brown led his team to a 23-17 win over the Cowboys with his 6'2", 232-pound physique of power and grace. He was considered the king of the NFL jungle because most would rather tackle a fully grown lion than clash against Jim Brown. Although the distance of this run was not extraordinary at just 7 yards, it was considered to be an exhibition of athleticism and balance and one of the greatest running backs of all time. 80,000 fans packed into the Cleveland Municipal Stadium were able to firsthand view the spectacle of Jim Brown on the 2nd down and 10 as he took a handoff, broke a tackle, gracefully did a 360-degree turnaround, another opponent losing and quickly regaining his footing to continue to break more tackles until he was surrounded by Cowboys. The Browns went on to the Super Bowl that year but were shut down by the Packers. Jim Brown rushed for 1,544 yards and led the league for the 8th time in 9 years, then retired after that season. Number 9, Hugh McElhenny advances a 77-yard reception with no helmet.
40. However, it's just a momentary pause as the great 49er rookie scampers down to the 17 before being pushed out of bounds.
In November in 1952, face masks on helmets were non-existent, and in partial consequence, while making a risky dive to get a reception, McElhenny's helmet fell off during the battle between the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. At that time, McElhenny was a rookie halfback for the 49ers. With the Giants being the top dogs of the game, the 49ers found themselves pushed deep back in their territory. After taking the hike, Y.A. Little, who later became a Hall of Fame quarterback, was forced to release a long pass to McElhenny, even though he was well covered by the New York defense. McElhenny was able to use his super diving leap to mitten the ball. After rolling to offset his momentum, he sprang back to action and took a 77-yard scramble while leaving his helmet on the field. 50,000 spectators at the stadium cheered him further until he was finally pushed out of bounds at the Giants' 20-yard line by Hall of Fame defensive back Emlen Tunnell. Although this was a fantastic play, the top dog New York Giants finished the game at the top of the score 23-14. In December in 1992, the Dallas Cowboys and their superstar Emmitt Smith challenged the Atlanta Falcons at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. When we say dusted, it's really an understatement, as the score was 41-17. The spectacular Emmitt Smith propelled the Cowboys to a 27-10 lead in the third quarter. And in the third quarter, as the Cowboys were in possession of the ball on the Falcons' 29-yard line, quarterback Troy Aikman handed the ball off to Emmitt Smith. The rest is epic. Smith was confronted with a wall of defenders, so he stutter-stepped and broke outside the right of the yardage. It seemed evident that Emmitt's choice was futile as he was met with a gang of Falcon defenders ready to crush him. However, he surprisingly bounced off the 6-man strong flock of Falcon defenders and zoomed into the end zone for the touchdown. Overall, Emmitt rushed for 1,713 yards and claimed a Super Bowl title for the Cowboys. Number 7, Derrick Henry runs for a 99-yard touchdown and ties a record.
Stays in bounds. He might go. 99 yards.
Taylor Lewin testified that the play was probably In December of 2018 at the Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, the Tennessee Titans dominated the Jacksonville Jaguars 30-9. Derrick Henry displayed a magnificent ballad of strong-arm maneuvers that seemingly represented a mixture of football and judo as he accelerated for 99 yards from the scrimmage line and tossed his Jaguar opponents like Tarzan through the cougar in the popular classic stories. That night, Henry racked up 4 touchdowns and rushed for 238 yards. That 99-yard run in 2018 marked the tie of an NFL record that was set by Tony Dorsett in 1983. Number 6. Antonio Cromartie strides with pride for 109 yards.
To the house! Touchdown, San Diego! An NFL.
November 4th, 2007, Minnesota Vikings and the San Diego Chargers squared up at the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota. On that day, Antonio Cromartie became the first person in NFL history to set a record of 109 yards, which is pretty much the longest a football player can actually achieve. And he performed this feat with what looked like an epitome of a walk in the park. Even Sean Merriman said that it didn't look like Antonio Cromartie was running fast, but actually he was smoking fast. Ryan Longwell of the Vikings stretched his legs on field 7 seconds before halftime and pushed his attempt at a 57-yard field goal. Unfortunately, he came up short, and Antonio Cromartie emerged as a star, charging in for an astonishing 109 yards. Even though the Chargers lost the game at Vikings 35 and Chargers 17, Antonio Cromartie entered NFL records. Number 5. Billy White Shoes Johnson catches a Hail Mary out of nowhere like a ghost. It was November in 1983 in Atlanta, Georgia, where Steve Bartkowski went for a Hail Mary pass in a terrain filled with 49ers. The entire spectacle was tremendous as the circumstances were intense. With 2 seconds left on the clock, Joe Montana led the 49ers to a 24-21 win. The Falcons were on the offense, pushing upwards midfield. Among all the players stretching out for the ball, Falcons receiver Billy White Shoes Johnson miraculously suctioned the ball out and gave it a magnificent run, evading 49ers and contorting his body to slam the ball for a touchdown, as his legs were wrapped up yards from his goal and was soon at the bottom of a dog pile. And that was also the time Billy White Shoes Johnson, who was known for his Al Harris of the Green Bay Packers, faced off against the Seattle Seahawks in January of 2004. Matt Hasselbeck, the Seattle quarterback, threw over 300 yards to lead his team on a forced overtime. Captain of the team, Hasselbeck, said he wanted the ball and he was determined to score. Hasselbeck lobbed over a short ball to his teammate, which was quickly intercepted by Packers' Al Harris. The cornerback dashed for 52 yards and even had time to point his arm forward in celebration of charging like a cavalry on horseback. 3-27. In September of 2010, in the second quarter with a minute left on the clock, Tom Brady threw a perfectly calculated pass right into the palm of Randy Moss after the receiver had gotten upfield advantage over his rival New York Jets' Darrelle Revis. Even Matt Light and millions of NFL lovers to this day still wonder how he did that. Although the final score was 28-14 with the Jets taking the win, Randy Moss earned a nickname known as the Freak for such exceptional plays. And this is one of the reasons that Randy Moss was able to claim fame as a Hall of Famer. Number 2, Randall Cunningham was considered one of the greats of all time, being compared to legends like Wayne Gretzky and Michael Jordan in their respective fields. In October of 1988 at the Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Eagles won the game, a 24-13 loss by the New York Giants. Cunningham displayed his flexibility and rocket arm launcher when Giants Pro Bowl linebacker Carl Banks dove into Cunningham's legs, tripping him at the 10-yard line. It seemed as though Cunningham was surely going down. The best way to explain the situation next is straight from the horse's mouth. Carl Banks said, "I go in to make what I would consider a routine tackle, and the guy turns into Stretch Armstrong." In one of those wonder underdog stories, the Eagles were not expected to have the advantage over their divisional rival, but the Giants were not expected the physical resourcefulness of the brilliant athleticism of the Eagles' Pro Bowl quarterback. The incredibly elastic 6'4" Cunningham avoided the takedown, sprang back into action, and fired off a perfect pass right into the hands of his receiver, Jimmy Giles. In that game, Cunningham completed 31 of 41 passes for 369 yards and brought in 3 touchdowns. Number 1, Antoine Randall L. throws a 43-yard touchdown pass to Hines Ward in Super Bowl 40.
There's a man open. Touchdown, Pittsburgh! Hines Ward!
And a perfectly executed trick play that occurred midway through the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 40. Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger received the hike and pitched the ball to the running back Willie Parker, who handed off the ball to Antoine Randall L., who was running on the reverse. Just like expected, he speared the pigskin directly into the chest of his target Hines Ward, which ended in a 43-yard touchdown. The mind-boggling play was the last score of the game and earned the Steelers their first Super Bowl title in 25 years. It truly was a spot-on throw by Antoine Randall L., who actually positioned as a quarterback during his college years. It was a textbook description of this trick play orchestrated by the Steelers in 2006 at the Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan, where the Steelers took the title over the Seahawks 21-10. Let us know which is your favorite smartest play, and would you like